After a romantic dinner, my boyfriend proposed. Overjoyed, I said yes, until a woman stormed in screaming, "You just proposed to me last night." The ring on her finger matched mine. Frozen, I whispered, "Whose name is on the marriage certificate?" His face turned white as the waiter handed me a folder. "I got engaged 2 nights ago. Now, I don't even know who the hell I was dating for the past 3 years. I was in a relationship with Nathan, 33 male. We met through mutual friends, hit it off instantly, and everything just fell into place. He was charming, sweet, always made time for me, and never gave me a reason to doubt him. I thought I was lucky. I thought we had something real. I thought we were building a future together. For the past few months, he'd been a little off. Nothing extreme, just subtle changes. He'd be overly affectionate 1 minute, then distant the next. Started getting protective over his phone. Got busier with work. But it wasn't anything that screamed cheating, it was just enough to make me notice. I even joked once, "What, you got a secret family or something?" He laughed. I laughed. Then he pulled me in and kissed me. I wish I knew that was my answer right there. 2 nights ago, he took me to this rooftop restaurant in Brooklyn. It was one of those places with string lights, soft jazz, and a perfect view of the city skyline. Romantic as hell. I remember thinking he's making up for being distant. We drank wine, had one of those deep, dreamy conversations about life and the future, and just when I thought the night couldn't get more perfect, he pulled out a ring. A vintage-cut diamond, delicate, beautiful. My hands flew to my mouth. Tears welled up in my eyes. He asked. I said yes. The restaurant erupted. People clapped, the waiter brought over champagne on the house, and I was floating. Absolutely glowing. I thought, this is it. This is my person. This is my forever. Then, out of nowhere, a woman burst in. She was out of breath, frantic, furious, and she was wearing my ring. The same vintage-cut diamond. Same delicate band. Same everything. For a second, I couldn't process what I was seeing. It felt like some sort of sick magic trick. I stared at her. Stared at her hand. Looked down at my own. I didn't understand. My mind was screaming at me that something was wrong, but my body wouldn't move. Then she yelled. Loud enough that the whole restaurant turned dead silent. "You just proposed to me last night." Every single muscle in my body locked up. Nathan went pale. Completely ghost white. My heart was beating so hard I could barely hear. People were staring. I felt every eye in that restaurant burning into me, waiting for my reaction. But I was frozen. My hands were still on the table, my fingers still brushing against the velvet ring box. It took everything in me to look at him. "Nathan," I whispered. "What is she talking about?" He didn't answer. He didn't even blink. The woman, Sophia, I would later learn, stepped closer. She was shaking. Her eyes were red. "You proposed to me last night," she repeated, voice cracking. "Right here. At this exact table." The world tilted. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. I turned to him again, desperate for him to fix this, to say something that made this whole thing some giant misunderstanding. But he just sat there, staring at the table, like if he didn't move, maybe this moment wouldn't be real. I swallowed, my throat like sandpaper. Nathan. Still nothing. That was when I knew. I knew before I even asked my next question, before my mind could even fully process what was happening. But I still asked. "Whose name is on the marriage certificate?" His entire body jerked at those words. The restaurant stayed dead silent. And then, as if this wasn't already the worst moment of my entire existence, the damn waiter appeared. He had a folder. And he set it right in front of me. "Ma'am," he said gently. "I think you might want to see this." My stomach dropped. With shaking fingers, I opened it. Inside was a copy of a marriage license. Nathan's name. And Sophia's. Dated 2 weeks ago. The air left my lungs. I couldn't even speak. Couldn't even think. I felt Sophia's eyes on me. "You didn't know," she whispered. It wasn't even a question. My hands clenched the edges of the folder so hard my knuckles turned white. "No," I choked out. Sophia lost it. She turned to him, screaming, demanding answers, demanding to know why the hell he would marry her and then propose to another woman a week later. I couldn't even react. I just stared at the papers, rereading his name over and over, as if somehow that would make this nightmare stop. Sophia was yelling. Nathan was stammering. The restaurant was eating this drama up like it was dinner theater. People were filming. I should have been humiliated, I should have been crying, I should have been feeling something, but I was numb. And then, we just signed a lease in Chicago. Chicago. Nathan was moving out of state with his actual wife. While planning to marry me too. I started laughing. Not a normal laugh. A hysterical, borderline manic laugh. Because this wasn't just cheating. This wasn't just a secret wife. This was a full-blown, premeditated, double life. I was engaged to a man who was already married. Sophia was married to a man who was engaged to me. And he was about to move to an entirely different state and probably start another relationship while still juggling us. A serial fiancé. A professional con artist. Nathan, meanwhile, was still trying to speak. I was going to tell you, when? Sophia and I both snapped at the same time. His mouth opened and closed like a dying fish. It's not, if you say, it's not what it looks like, I swear to God, he shut up real fast. Sophia was shaking with rage. I was still stuck in this detached, floating state where nothing felt real. I felt like I was watching myself in a movie, waiting for the plot twist to end, waiting for some clue that this wasn't actually my life. But it was. This was real. And standing across from me was the man I was supposed to spend the rest of my life with. The man I thought I knew. The man who had looked me in the eyes, slid a ring onto my finger, and told me he wanted forever. And the worst part? I almost said yes. Nathan opened his mouth, probably about to say something pathetic, but before he could, Sophia snatched the marriage license off the table and shoved it in his face. You married me, she hissed, voice shaking. You stood in front of my family. You put a ring on my finger. You signed this with your own goddamn hand. I was gripping the edge of the table so hard my fingertips were going numb. My mind was stuck in a loop. He's married. He's married. He's married. Nathan kept trying to talk, eyes darting between us like a cornered animal. A random guy from another table whistled. Dude, you're so effed. The restaurant snickered. Someone actually applauded. Sophia turned on her heel and grabbed my hand. We're leaving, she snapped. Nathan stepped forward. Wait, no, I yanked my hand away. You don't get to wait. Then, for the first time since this nightmare started, I looked him straight in the eye. I wanted to see it. The guilt. The regret. The fear. And I did. His hands were clenched into fists, his jaw tight, his face still bone white. He knew. He knew this was the end of his game. But instead of giving us the answers we deserved, he ran. Literally ran. Just turned around, shoved through the crowd, and bolted for the door. The restaurant erupted. Oh hell no, Sophia shouted. Did he just, yes. Yes, he did. Nathan ran from his own proposal. From his wife. From his fiancée. From the mess he made. For a split second, I was too stunned to react. But then something inside me snapped. I grabbed my clutch, kicked back my chair, and sprinted after him. So did Sophia. So did half the restaurant. By the time we hit the sidewalk, Nathan was gone. Sophia spun in a circle, hair whipping in the wind. Where the hell? And then, across the street, I spotted him. Running full speed down the sidewalk, shoving past people, in a goddamn suit. Oh, I'm not letting him get away, I muttered. I took off. Sophia cursed and ran beside me. If I catch him first, I get to kill him. Fair. People were staring as we tore through the streets of Brooklyn, heels clicking, anger fueling us like gasoline. We chased him 2 blocks. And then, Nathan made a crucial mistake. He tried to run across traffic. Cars screeched. Horns blared. Someone screamed. And Nathan? Nathan tripped. Fell face first into the pavement. I skidded to a stop, panting, my entire body on fire. Sophia, right beside me, doubled over, hands on her knees. Jesus, I looked down at him. Nathan groaned, rolling onto his back, nose bleeding, suit ripped, and looking like the world's biggest idiot. For the first time all night, I smiled. I stepped forward, my heels clicking against the pavement. So, I said, voice calm. You gonna tell us the truth now, or should we just start calling every woman in your phone? Nathan groaned again, pressing a hand to his face. But Sophia? She wasn't interested in waiting. She grabbed his wallet. And that's when things got worse. Because inside, there wasn't just a marriage license. There wasn't just cash. There were 2 more engagement rings. One with a name taped to it. Jessica. Oh, you've got to be FNG kidding me, I whispered. Nathan sat up too fast, his eyes wild when he saw what Sophia was holding. Wait, wait. He reached for his wallet, but she yanked it out of his reach. Sophia and I both stared at the 2 extra engagement rings, our stomachs sinking into the pavement. Jessica. Another woman. Another name. Another life he was hiding. I snatched the ring from Sophia's hand and turned it over, my fingers trembling. The inside was engraved. To Jessica, my love. My vision blurred. My pulse thundered in my ears. I had never seen this ring before in my life. Who? The F. Is Jessica? I finally asked. Nathan swallowed hard. I can explain. Sophia and I both laughed. Laughed so hard people on the street started staring. This man, this absolute joke of a human being, thought there was an explanation. I crouched in front of him, keeping my voice low and cold. Let me guess. You love her too. Nathan's jaw clenched. He refused to look at me. Sophia shook the wallet. Are there more? Do I need to dig deeper? Should I start checking the lining for hidden mistresses? Nathan's hand twitched toward his pocket. And that's when I saw it. His phone. Unlocked. Open to his text messages. And Jessica's name right there at the top. I lunged for it. He tried to snatch it back, but Sophia kicked him in the leg, throwing him off balance just long enough for me to grab the phone and run. Nathan shouted behind me. Give that back. Nope. I sprinted to the sidewalk, scrolling as fast as I could, my hands shaking. And there it was. A wedding invitation. Jessica and Nathan date, 2 months from now. Location, Los Angeles. Oh my God, I breathed. Sophia was already reading over my shoulder, her mouth hanging open. Nathan was engaged again. To Jessica. And based on these messages? She had no idea about us. I kept scrolling, skimming texts, screenshots, proof. Jessica had been with Nathan for 7 years. 7 years. Before me. Before Sophia. Meaning he had been cheating on her with us. Sophia let out a sound that was half a laugh, half a scream. You mean to tell me I married a man who was already engaged? I turned back to Nathan, who was still sitting on the pavement, looking like he'd rather get hit by a bus than deal with this conversation. And for the first time all night, I saw something flicker across his face. Not guilt. Not shame. Not even fear. Annoyance. Like we were the problem. Like we were being unreasonable. Like this wasn't a big deal. And that's what finally made me snap. You are sick, I spat. You're a damn con artist. You collect fiancés like trading cards. What's your endgame, huh? Were you planning to marry all of us? Rotate between cities? What the F was the plan, Nathan? He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Sophia crossed her arms. Tell us how many. He blinked. What? How many, Nathan? She threw his wallet at him, her hands trembling with rage. How many rings? How many women? How many lies? He looked down at the ground. Took a slow breath. And then he did something so unbelievable, so disgusting, so completely insane, he smiled. And said, I lost count. I saw red. Sophia lunged at him. And then, a car screeched to a stop beside us. And a woman jumped out. A woman with long black hair, piercing blue eyes, and murder written all over her face. And she was wearing a diamond ring. A ring that looked very familiar. Nathan, she snarled. He went stiff. The woman turned to us. Her gaze zeroed in on Sophia. Then on me. Then on the phone still clutched in my hand. Then, slowly, she lifted her left hand and wiggled her fingers. Looks like I'm not the only one wearing this ring. Nathan's whole body went rigid. The new woman, the one with the same ring as us, stepped closer, her heels clicking against the pavement with slow, calculated precision. Her eyes locked onto mine first, then drifted to Sophia, and then finally landed on Nathan, who still looked like he'd rather be anywhere but here. You're Nathan's fiancé too, aren't you? She asked me, voice sharp as a blade. I swallowed, throat dry. I was. Her expression didn't change. No shock, no outburst. Just a slow, chilling nod. Then she turned to Sophia. And you? Sophia let out a bitter laugh. No. I'm his wife. The woman's mouth twitched like she was trying to suppress a smirk. Huh. Interesting. I did not like how calm she was. Sophia crossed her arms. Who the hell are you? She held out her hand like she was introducing herself at a business meeting. Evelyn. Nathan's fiancée. Well, one of them, apparently. I couldn't breathe. Another one. Another ring. Another woman. Nathan still hadn't moved, still hadn't spoken, still hadn't done a single thing to try and fix this. Evelyn sighed dramatically. God, I knew you were a piece of S, Nathan, but 4 engagements at once? She tilted her head. Or is it 5? Nathan flinched. I took a step forward. 5? Evelyn looked at me again, expression unreadable. Then, so casually it made my stomach drop, she pulled out her phone, tapped the screen a few times, and turned it toward us. And there, staring back at me, was a wedding invitation. Nathan and Jessica, my knees almost gave out. You're late to the party, I whispered. We already found out about Jessica. Evelyn raised an eyebrow. Oh, you think there's only one more? Before I could ask what the hell that meant, she scrolled again. And another woman's name popped up. Rebecca. And then another. Melanie. The world tilted. This man, this absolute sociopath, had 6 fiancées. 6. Including his wife. Nathan must have sensed that this was beyond salvageable because he suddenly lunged for Evelyn's phone. But she was faster. She yanked it away and shoved him so hard he stumbled backward into the curb. And then? She slapped him. The sound echoed across the street. People actually gasped. Sophia and I just watched. Nathan touched his face, eyes wide. Eve, shut the F up, Evelyn snapped, her voice booming through the street. You absolute, disgusting, pathological liar. She was shaking now, her entire body vibrating with rage. You proposed to me. You looked me in the eyes and told me I was the only one. And the whole damn time, you were collecting women like a goddamn hobby? Nathan opened his mouth, but she slapped him again. You married someone else, she screamed. Did you think I wouldn't find out? That any of us wouldn't find out? He looked at her like a deer in headlights. Eve, I was going to, Sophia let out a dark laugh. Let me guess. I was going to tell you. I crossed my arms. Or maybe, it's not what it looks like. Evelyn scoffed. Or my personal favorite, I love you both. Nathan actually had the audacity to glare at us. This isn't funny. Sophia took a menacing step forward. It's hilarious, actually. Nathan's mask finally cracked. He ran a hand down his face, frustration leaking out. You don't understand. No, we understand perfectly, Evelyn shot back. You're a con artist. A fraud. A compulsive liar. I exhaled sharply. How many others, Nathan? How many rings do you have hidden? How many weddings were you planning? He didn't answer. Because there was no answer. Because we weren't even the full list. He didn't lose count. He just stopped caring. Nathan sighed heavily, rubbing his temples like we were inconveniencing him. And that's when I lost it. I stormed toward him, grabbing his own damn phone from his pocket before he could react. And there, buried under a fake name, in a secret folder, under an app disguised as a banking app, were more names. More messages. More women. Not just fiancées. Not just wives. Girlfriends. Hookups. A full-blown network of lies. Sophia looked over my shoulder and made a choked noise. Jesus Christ. Evelyn took one look and laughed. A cold, empty, soulless laugh. God, she muttered. You're not even a cheater. You're a goddamn cult leader. Nathan snapped. His face twisted into something ugly. What the F do you want me to say? Huh? That I'm a horrible person? That I made mistakes? Sophia rolled her eyes. Mistakes are when you forget an anniversary. This is a full-time job. Evelyn crossed her arms. How long were you planning to keep this up, Nathan? Were you just gonna rotate women until you died? His jaw clenched. I didn't mean for this to happen. And that's what finally made me snap. I stepped forward, voice deadly calm. You didn't mean for what to happen, exactly? Nathan blinked. I didn't mean to get caught. He hesitated. And that was enough. I smiled. Yeah. That's what I thought. He looked away, shoulders slumping. For the first time all night, he actually looked small. And for the first time all night, I felt nothing. Not anger. Not sadness. Not pain. Just nothing. I turned to Sophia. You ready to be done? She let out a long breath. Yeah. I think I am. Evelyn smirked. Oh, I've been done. And then, just to twist the knife, she took off her engagement ring, the one Nathan gave her, the one that matched ours, and chucked it straight into a storm drain. The metallic plunk it made when it hit the water felt so damn satisfying. I slid mine off too. Sophia followed. And one by one, we all dropped them. Right in front of him. Nathan watched them fall. Watched his entire web of lies crumble in real time. And then? We left. No dramatic send-off. No final words. Just, nothing. Because that's exactly what he deserved. And I was free.